This is TSC Chavez, and for today's video, I am sick. My body really said, Setsi, you know what? You're gonna know what it feels like to have allergies. And let me tell you something. I know what it feels like to have allergies now. I took my first Certic today. Who am I? I don't even know. But you know what? That's besides the point. I just had to throw that out there because my nose is pretty stuffy. I might have to run and blow my nose. My voice does sound a little bit weird. But anyway, today's topic is my godly testimony, and I'm just excited to share this with you guys. I would really like for you guys to know what inspired me and how I got to where I am today. I wouldn't be me if I didn't go through these things, you know what I'm saying? First off, I do want to start off by saying that I'm so grateful for my parents being understanding and being very open-hearted and just wanting for me to thrive in life, right? Big shout out to my mom and big shout out to my dad, big shout out to my huitos. But yeah, so I was pretty much raised Catholic. I would go to Sunday Mass with my family. I had my baptism. I had my first communion. I had my confirmation. I actually went to a Catholic private college prep high school my junior and senior year. So I was pretty, you know, involved in the Catholic world, if you will. I just did wanted to start off this video saying that I was born and raised Catholic, and there's nothing wrong with that. I respect that religion so much. I don't see my family any different for being Catholic still to this day, and I just think that if it's somewhere where you met God and you feel like you have a genuine relationship with God, not just like a religion, but like an actual relationship with God, then so be it, you know? But I personally don't categorize myself as Catholic anymore. I actually now attend a Christian non-denominational church. I actually got rebaptized. I've loved it ever since, and I'll get more into details with that. I'm just so grateful that anything that is Jesus, I was very welcoming to, and my parents allowed me as well to be very welcoming to. So I remember when I was like 12 years old and a Jehovah's Witness knocked on my door, and you know, she asked if she could read the Bible with me, and I was so excited. I was like, you want to read the Bible with me? Like, dude, let's do it, you know? But I was like, hold up, let me run to ask my parents, you know? And I asked, and they were like, Sets and Gary, as long as they're not shoving their religion down your throat and y'all are just like, you know, reading the Bible, then go for it. And I was like, Miss Girl, come on in. And I kid y'all not, she actually visited my house for like half a year, you know, I want to say it was like half a year. We would hang in my backyard by my pool and we would just read the word, and I was just so intrigued and I just wanted to know more. And I would tell her like, dude, can we just do 2 sessions today? Like, I have all of these questions and I need you to answer them for me, you know? And it was a wholesome experience. During this time, I was getting fed Jesus through my first communion and my confirmation, and it was very wholesome. But there were a couple of questions that I just couldn't really understand in the Catholic Church, and then a couple of things that I would hear and it's just like, but this doesn't really make sense, or like, to me at least, you know? And I just felt more so like it was a religion more than like a relationship with Christ, just because you have like a priest that you have to go confess your sins to. And just the whole idea of having like a mediator, if you will, you know, to that relationship with Christ just didn't really add up to me. But I nonetheless respected that, and I would do that every so often. But there was just something in me that I just felt like wasn't enough. Like, I just didn't have that full-on relationship with Christ. Like, he's my best friend. I just so felt like he was so far out of reach. Like, there had to be a priest for him to be present, or just certain, you know, questions. And so fast forwarding to high school and college, I most definitely have done stuff that I am not proud of, and I feel like at the end of the day, it comes down to me not having a relationship with Christ as my best friend. You know, not having that fear that we would be judged one day, because he sees me at all times and he's with me at all times. And you know, obviously you know that through a religion, but there's just that difference of not having him as my best friend like I do now. And I, like I said, have done certain things that I'm not proud of, and it didn't click to me because in my eyes, well, I'm Catholic, you know, I'm in a religion, like I am doing good, like I don't harm anybody around me, like I will get good in return, you know what I'm saying? But there is a huge difference, and the way I see it now, that you basically reflect Christ's light, and that you have deeds to meet and his image to reflect, and overall that respect for Christ is just so different now, having him as my best friend, as my father. And one example that I can give straight off the bat, which is so embarrassing to say out loud, but I dressed up as the devil for Halloween my freshman and my sophomore year of college. And it wasn't like, oh, I'm dressing up as the devil, you know, like no, I like literally ran to Walmart last minute, and it's like first thing you see, let's go, come on. And it's something now that I look back on and I'm like, how did I have the audacity? How could I be so naive to think that's okay? Like, absolutely not. But the thing is, oh, well, everybody does it. Oh, but like she's Catholic and she's doing this, then so can I. Like, we're in the same religion. Oh, but like, you know, I'll just go to the priest and like confess or whatnot. You know, I just didn't see it as bad as I do now, because there's that level of respect, there's that level of intimacy as my best friend, as my father, who I can talk to at any minute of any day, that I can reach out to with a single thought, you know. And this may not be the case for everybody who was Catholic. I'm just speaking on my behalf and on my testimony as a whole. But yeah, there was definitely certain things that I'm not proud of, and I look back on now and I'm like, how could I even consider myself a Catholic or to be in a religion when I'm out here doing all these hood rat stuff with my friends, you know, that I thought were my friends, you know? So yeah, fast forward into my, I want to say it was like my sophomore year of college. I was very stressed, and I remember like running to my class. I was like so late. I was like running, and there was this Jehovah's Witness by the student center with the whole little like booklet like shelf thing, and she's like, hey sweetie, and I'm like, lady, this is not the time. This is not the time. But it's godly related, and I need God in my life. I need him right now, because I knew I was stressed, and I knew that I was just partaking in certain activities that weren't so righteous, if you will. And so I was like, whatever, screw it, I don't care if I'm late to my class. And so I was like, yeah, I would love to pick up a booklet. And then, you know, we started having conversation, and she's like, well, do you mind, or like would you be up for like a Bible study? And I was like, lady, I would love a Bible study. And yeah, we literally hung out, I want to say for like a whole year, maybe like a year and a half, and we would meet like once a week and we would do Bible studies. And once again, I was so intrigued. I felt like I would get all these answers that I so longed for in a Catholic mass, and I never received, because it's so repetitive, because you only get like 10 minutes of a difference in the Catholic Church mass. And so I remember like reading the word and just having all of these questions that she was like, I can't give it all to you. You have to like little by little, or else you get confused. Same ordeal as like the lady when I was like 12 years old, right? And I did talk to my parents, and I asked them, I was like, hey, like, there's this Jehovah's Witness that wants to have a Bible study with me. Like, how do y'all feel about it? Like, are y'all cool with it? And they were like, Sets and Gary, once again, if they're not shoving their religion down your throat, then so be it. And go read the word. And I'm like, let's go. So fast forward to my senior year of college. I was supposed to graduate May of 2020, but then COVID happened. I refused to graduate without walking the stage. I'm a first gen, and my parents and my huitos and my tios are not gonna be able to see me walk the stage. Like, no, 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 and no, 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 no. I refuse to. As I previously mentioned, I was pretty stressed my sophomore year, and that includes my freshman and sophomore year. I vividly remember studying my butt off sometimes and pulling all-nighters, and I would receive a 70 or an 80. And it was just so heartbreaking. Like, I remember calling my mom and my dad like, bro, like, I just barely passed this test. Like, this sucks. Like, I just can't anymore. And they would be like, Setsungiri, you passed. Like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, no, like, you don't understand. I need good grades to go into grad school. Like, I need my A's in my science classes, because I was getting A's in every other subject. It was just my science courses that I would barely pass. And it's like, you're talking 78, 75, and it's just like, bruh. But then again, I know deep down that I wasn't studying to its full potential, because I was in like several organizations. I was like president for my dorm, and I was also socializing with my friends. So it's good because I had that balance. Like, I was making my A's in my classes, but I was making those C's in the most important courses that would allow me to go into grad school. And so that was very stressful on my end. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I was just stressed over my C's in my science classes. And so fast forward to my senior year of college, like I said, COVID happened, and I was like, I refuse to graduate like this. Like, I'm not gonna just graduate virtually. Like, no, I did not work my butt off, and I am not a first gen and just gonna let it slide like it's nothing. Like, absolutely not. And so I ended up retaking an extra semester of college, and I ended up graduating December of 2020. But here's the thing. If I wouldn't have taken my extra semester of college, I wouldn't have joined the Baptist Student Ministry. I wouldn't have joined 2 Bible studies that fed me Jesus so much. And I wouldn't have joined like the First Baptist Church, and just being surrounded by so many godly, like-minded people. Because there's one thing to have your friends in college and to have your worldly friends from high school and etc. But there's nothing that compares to having friends that are around your same age, that share the most beautiful common interest, being God. And so I'm just so grateful that I received those C's, because if not, I wouldn't have been motivated to take an extra semester of college. And if it were for that extra semester of college, I wouldn't have joined everything that made me want to graduate and pursue something similar here in Houston. So pretty much my last semester of college, I joined the Baptist Student Ministry, which is across campus, and you basically had your typical like worship, 2 songs, and then you had a message, and then you rap with 2 songs again. And it was just very wholesome to build a community with people that were like-minded and were around my same age, and we were just feeding each other Jesus. Like, I literally loved that so much, and I was like, where has this been my whole 4 years of life in college? It's been there. I was just never really like open to the idea, because my worldly friends wouldn't necessarily go. You get to a certain point in age where you learn to group your friends, and that's very healthy, because if you try to rock with your worldly friends at all times, baby girl, baby boy, they're gonna give you worldly advice when you're in need of it. They're gonna tell you what you want to hear, and you don't need that. You need friends that are gonna tell you straight up how it is, how you should go about it, very righteously. And that's gonna prevent you from so many heartbreaks and from so much drama and so many problems. I'm just going off topic at this point, but I really just want to emphasize the fact that like, you need your friends for this, and your friends for that, and your friends for this, and your friends for that. And so I literally joined the Baptist Student Ministry by myself. I went and I was like, you know what? if this is for me, then it'll be for me, you know? And I'm just so glad that I was received with such love and with such open arms. And I built so many friendships there that were so genuine. I mean, you're talking about people that were freshmen or sophomore, and I looked up to them because it's like, wow, like, wow, just like I get to see the light that you reflect. I get to see Christ's image all over you, and that's just so beautiful. And so I joined the Baptist Student Ministry, and it was like once every week. And then on top of that, we had a day where like you literally would just pull up and eat lunch, and then you had like a topic and you would like talk about it within your group. And it was just so wholesome because you were also getting fed physically and spiritually. Baby boy, I was fed. I was fed like there ain't no tomorrow. But yeah, and so I joined those two, and then within the Baptist Student Ministry there were small groups that you could also attend, and I joined 2 small groups which were so wholesome, and I loved them so much because I gained so much insight from each and every single person in there, and I literally looked forward to these days. I looked forward to getting to know more about them, about God, and wanting to draw closer to God, and knowing that I would leave those small groups so inspired, so fueled, so pumped, like ready to conquer the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, I genuinely looked forward to these days. There weren't like really parties that I looked forward to anymore. Like, I looked forward to Bible studies with my friends. I genuinely did. Even on my last day, y'all, they celebrated like my goodbye, if you will, like my graduation amongst like 3 other people that were also graduating. It was so wholesome, and I just cherished that so much in my heart. That's essentially what made me want to graduate and find a community like this back home. And so aside from joining what it is, worship and noon lunch and the 2 small groups, I signed up to be an evangelist on campus. And so essentially we got trained for a couple of weeks to know how to interact with people, how to go about having tough conversations with people who are atheists, with people who fell off from a relationship with Christ, with people who have no idea who Jesus Christ is. And we would just literally talk to people about Christ. I loved that so much because I made it a mission to leave people wanting to know more about God. It was uncomfortable sometimes. I would say maybe like a 2-3 out of 10, but it's like, I don't care. I'm doing this for God, and I'm doing this for you because I know you need God. Everybody needs God in their life. And so it was very, very wholesome, and that was a big takeaway that I also was able to take onward because I ended up graduating, and I was like, I need to seek a community like this back home. So yeah, there was this one girl that transferred out from my college to one here in Houston, and she had actually found a community like it. And I was like, Miss Girl, when I graduate, let me pull up. And yeah, and she was like, absolutely. So I joined the Monday night fellowship for a handful of months. I want to say maybe like 5-6 months, and then I came across Grace, which is now my home church. So funny enough, I met this friend named KC over at Monday Night Fellowship, which, mind you guys, it was a whole hour drive from my house, but I didn't mind doing that every Monday because I was getting fed spiritually and with the community like the Baptist Student Ministry. And so I would drive a whole hour, and it wasn't until my friend Casey was like, hey, have you ever heard of Grace? And I was like, I think it's by my house. It's literally 10 minutes from my house, y'all. And he was like, you should come check it out and blah blah blah. And I was like, bet. And then I did, and you guys, I fell in love with it since the first day. This video is already so long, but I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys about my first time there. I just really want to encourage you guys to go for it, If you want to join a community like this, if you want to be more rooted in Christ, and if you want to genuinely have friendships that are rooted in the Word, then do it. Don't be shy, don't be scared, like, do not be discouraged. I literally just told y'all that I joined the Baptist Student Ministry in my college town by myself. and I knew nobody in there, but I was received with so much love and with open arms that it made me want to go back. And at the end of the day, you're going for God, but God will make those friendships happen. I literally remember walking in, my friend Casey wasn't answering my text, so I was like, oh my God, like whatever, I'm just gonna go in, right? And so I'm literally walking in, and I remember the pastor being like, okay, now everybody turn to your right or to your left and say hi to somebody. I was like, brother, this is my time to shine. And so I literally just pulled up to a random row, and I was like, hi, my name's Setsi, hi, my name's Setsi. And I just like went down the row, and they're like, hi, like, would you like to sit with us? And I'm like, I'm so glad you asked, like, absolutely. And so I sat down, and I kid y'all not, afterwards they were like, hey, what's the move, like Pluckers? Yeah. And I was like, dude, I love Pluckers, like, yeah, let's do it. And then we go to Pluckers, and then somebody's like, so who do you know from here? And I was like, nobody. I literally knew nobody in that group, but they were all so wholesome, and I was like, bro, this is what I missed from college. Let this be an encouragement to just go for it. If God sees you trying, He will make a way. His timing is perfect. His friendships are beautiful. Like, genuinely surround yourself with the community like-minded, and you will see your life thrive and just your whole perspective in life. But yeah, that's just how I was pretty much introduced to Grace. And that same day, I joined a small group. I joined my good friend Ashley Martinez's small group, and she did amazing. I love her so much. And yeah, it was like an all-girls picnic by Baybrook Mall, and I was like, sign me up. I made so many genuine friendships there, and I loved it so much. That was around like September. So eventually November came around, and baptisms were around the corner, and I was like, baptisms? I got baptized when I was a baby, you know, but like my parents and my Tio Ivan and my Tia Lupe made that decision for me, which I'm so grateful for, because I feel like I have a piece of that forever in my life. You know, nothing is ever gonna take away what was done that night or that day, but I wanted to take accountability for myself. I wanted to say that I accept God as my Lord and Savior. I want to say that I do need Him, and that I want to proclaim Him as the one and only, right? And so yeah, I ended up getting rebaptized. As y'all could see in my shirt, I was made new, and I'm just so grateful, because the moment I brought it up to my parents and brought it up to my grandparents, they were like, hey, if this is what you want, then so be it. We'll be there and we'll support you. And I'm just so glad that my whole family went, and that it was just such a wholesome moment overall. So that was in November, and I ended up spending New Year's Eve and New Year's, like the whole 4 hours in between, at church at Grace with my good friend Miss Ashley and Miss Lizzie. And it was so wholesome to enter the new year. I was like, I want 2022 to be a little less like me and a whole lot more like Jesus. And I feel like I've been thriving. I ended up signing up to become an intern at Grace, so I'm there every Tuesday from 9 a.m. to pretty much midnight, like 11:30 midnight, you know, and I love it so much. I ended up becoming a small group leader, so my small group is called Discovering God, and yeah, I literally love the people in it. I hosted here at my house in my backyard, and I'm so grateful that my parents support me in that sense, that I can have people come over. And yeah, I have been doing that, and I am actually going on a mission trip this summer. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Now I'm actually planning to vlog the whole trip, so if you guys are interested, stay tuned or whatever. It has been in my heart so much, and I just can't wait. I just can't wait to see what this whole year has in store for me. I do want to say that this is my personal testimony. I am not discouraging you by any means to leave your religion, and I respect the Catholic religion 110% because I have family members there, because I know what it's like, and I just feel like personally, I feel like I have a more relationship with Christ Christ this way. And yeah, I wouldn't give it up for the world. I'm so excited. I have made so many drastic changes in my life since my baptism, and I refuse to go back to my old ways. If you guys would like another video on this topic, on like what this new life is like, then let me know. Drop a comment, DM me. But yeah, I think I pretty much hit all topics. I want to say like a huge shout out to just everybody who has helped me and support me and reflect Christ's image in my life, because if it weren't for y'all, I wouldn't be here today. No, but seriously, I do want to give like a big shout out to everybody who has helped me in my righteous path, if you will. That being my parents, my huitos, my small groups in NAC, like in my college town, Mr. Austin and Miss Emily and Cindy, and the small groups here, Miss Ashley's and Micah's, and KC for inviting me to Grace, and Daniela for like introducing me to Monday Night Fellowship, and just everybody who welcomed me with open arms and with so much love. If you guys would like more godly videos or whatever, just let me know. Let me know. I am up for it, okay? But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and for listening. If you made it this far, congratulations. But yeah, if you guys liked today's video, then make sure to give it a like and subscribe and hit the little bell notification button so you're notified for the next time I upload. And yeah, I love you guys so much. God bless you in Jesus' mighty name. Amen.